everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kay. Today I'm going to be talking about my new system for rating and reviewing books. So in my 1-year booktube anniversary video, I talked about how I am making a pivot in my content, and the biggest part of that is doing more kind of in-depth videos rather than a lot of the booktube staples that I've already quit doing, so TBRs, wrap-ups, things like that. And so part of that is I want to get away from this 5-star rating system, and I'm moving into a 10-star rating system. And then also I want to provide my reviews with a bit more structure. So I've sat down and figured out the things that I want to try to hit on in each and every review so that they're kind of consistent and just a bit more reliable across videos. So first off, the rating system. Previously I was working with a 5-star system kind of based off of Goodreads, but not really. 0 star for a DNF, 1 star if I hated it, 2 star if I didn't like it, 3 stars if I found it to be, kind of middle of the road, kind of whatever, 4 stars for enjoyment, and then 5 stars if I just really loved it. The problem with that was that you ended up with, I would have 2 books that I felt very different about. I enjoyed them at different levels, but they end up with the same rating. And it just didn't leave a lot of room for nuance. I didn't want to get into doing like half and quarter star ratings, because then that just gets, it seems to be more convoluted, I guess. I don't know. So instead I just moved to a 10-star system. I'll still be working with the 5-star system simply because I do use Goodreads, and I've started using the story graph, which I may end up completely switching to depending on further developments. It's currently in beta mode. So I'm still working with the 5-star system kind of initially, and then scaling that up. So the 5-star rating is what I'll use as soon as I finish a book, kind of like a gut check. It's purely enjoyment. Now that is not to say that that gut check doesn't take into account elements of the story, because for me, and I've seen some videos like from Marinez and Sam at My Name is Marinez and Thoughts on Tomes about being a critical reader. For me, the two are very much intertwined. So it's not just purely like, oh, I enjoyed it and it's great, if there are problems with it, because that affects how much I enjoy the book. So the 5-star is just a gut check immediately after I'm done reading it. And then the 10 stars is what I come up with after I've sat with it for, 2 or 3 days and had time to kind of mull things over and let things settle. Because oftentimes I find that immediately after reading a book, my feelings are typically more positive than, after a few days after I've kind of sat and things have started to fade a little bit. Then I typically bring my rating down a little bit. So anyway, 5-star gut check, and then 10-star is the upscale. So the 5-star gives me a starting place, and that goes as follows. 0 is still a 0 because it's DNF. I don't rate books I haven't finished. Not to say I don't have opinions on them, but I don't give them a star rating. 1 star is still 1 star because that's just absolute hate, and I feel like if I'm to the point where I hate a book, I hate the book. There doesn't need to be nuance there. I hate the book. 2 star is a 2 to 4 star range. 3 star is still kind of very in the middle of the road. Those are typically books I know a 3-star. When I read a 3-star, it's very meh, and I don't care. A lot of times I don't finish those books. So that's just a 5, kind of dead center. So the 4-star would scale up to a 6 to a 9. It has kind of the widest range, and that's because I don't know, when it gets to where I enjoy a book, that's where I feel like I need the most nuance, and anything above a 5-star is still pretty good to me. And then 5-star then would translate to a 10, because to be a 5 I need to absolutely love it. In some cases it might come down to like a 9 if there are any sort of structural issues or element issues, but yeah, I still get that feeling, because a 5-star typically has this kind of undefinable quality to it where I just absolutely love it. So I'm giving myself wiggle room obviously on all of these because this is a personal rating system, but just so that, you know, kind of broad strokes generally speaking as a reference for anybody who watches my reviews and wants to kind of gauge where my rating would fall in with theirs. Now for the review side of things, like I said, I want these to be a bit more structured, so I'm looking at starting off reviews kind of with a summary, which is the worst part of doing a review, is trying to concisely summarize a book without going off on a tangent. Then discuss the major elements of the book, so plot, characters, world building, magic systems, whatever the kind of the main points of the book are. Writing, as far as like style and just how the book reads. And then I want to add in a section about what drew me to the book and what kept me reading the book, because that for me has a big influence when I'm watching reviews as to how I gauge how they rate a book. So maybe for me what's drawing me to the book is the politics or the moral ambiguity or kind of this fast-paced plot. But what other people value in a book is really strong characters and the development and arcs that they go through, or the world building has to be super lush. So if I can kind of highlight exactly what I'm valuing in the book and why I'm giving it the rating I'm giving it based off of those things, I feel like that's a better guidance for anyone who watches my reviews to be able to make their own decisions. And then obviously I'll do kind of an overview of my total feelings about the book and then my rating. Also, in addition to that, my reviews will probably be exclusively like spoilery reviews. I find those easier to do because it's just a lot easier to talk about what I thought about the book and why I thought those things if I can talk about the things that made me feel and think those things. And when you're trying to do a spoiler-free review, that becomes extremely difficult because you have to be vague and you have to kind of skirt around the reality of the book. So yes, when I personally go and watch reviews, I've already read the book because I want to have my own thoughts, my own opinions on a book before I take in someone else's. That is kind of my thought process on this new turning point for my channel. I'll be putting up a review shortly and it will be following these guidelines, so we'll see how it goes. That's all I've got for today. Thanks for sticking around. Comment down below and let me know how you rate books and how you talk about books, and we can get a conversation going. So see you guys next time. Bye!